What's going on, people? Just did a little fucking 1 minute sprint into the forest, which is all good. You gotta do your fucking sprints, innit? What's going on though? How's your day going, man? Today I'm gonna talk about the way of the Dowel. Okay? The way of the Dowel, or the way itself. I've been listening to a lot of Alan Watts lectures on the topic. Okay? Because ancient Taoism, Taoist texts, or the main one that's called, it's literally written the way of the, it's called the way of the Dao, the Dao Di Jing. It's a very, it fucks your brain up when you read the book. I haven't read through all of it. I've read through half of it. It's not a long book. Most of it's just little riddles. Okay, riddles that are meant to just fuck up your brain. Okay? And one of the main ones is, well, the way of the Dao is the way that cannot be spoken. If it cannot be spoken, if it can be spoken, then it's not the Dao. And if it can be travelled, it's not the Dao. Okay? If you try to accord yourself with the Dao, you deviate from the Dao. And if you try to get the Dao, you almost certainly run away from it. And I think this principle can be applied, because it's a principle. In its core, I think that it is a principle. Because have you figured out that when you're dating, if you really want to date, if you really want to get a girlfriend, if you really want a relationship, you can never tend to find one. You never tend to find a girl. They always tend to flake, or you can't really vibe with them well. Okay, you just don't, you feel like it's just not working out. You get into this negative spiral, like, is maybe something wrong with me? Maybe I'm not the one who's doing enough. Maybe I should be talking to more girls. Maybe I should be asking more chicks out. Maybe I should be different. Maybe I should work on my physique more, you know? Working on your physique is fine. That's improving yourself. That's fine. Speaking to more girls is fine as well, in and of itself. Socializing, connecting with the feminine divine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like I've said before, if you do it from a place of lack, if you say that I need to do this in order to get X, if I need to do X to get Y, or I need to do Y to get Z, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because you're trying to accord yourself with something that is very natural. Having friends is a natural thing. Having girlfriends or relationships with the opposite sex is a natural thing. It's not something that's supposed to be forced. You can't plan it. You can't go about the whole dating thing with the idea that I want to date. Okay? You can go into the dating realm saying that I want to have an open mind and I want to meet as many people as I possibly can. I want to socialize, I want to make contacts, friends, networks. But there's no end goal in place. There's not the goal that I want to bed this girl, or I want to make her my girlfriend or my wife. That can't be the goal. Because if you've got that goal now, you are merely using these people as a means to an end, and you have now deviated from the course of nature. Because the course of nature is the way of the flow. You simply do what you do, and you get what you get. It sounds counterproductive, but you can't go about dating in a measurable way. Okay, you go through the motions, but you have to remain present, okay? You have to remain present. Now, I'll tell you a little story. Back in 2016, I was 18. I was very insecure. Very insecure. I was in a completely different parallel realm to where I am now. I had no idea of spirituality, of self-development. I just felt lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. And I just felt pathetic. I was overweight. I had such a shit worldview of everything. Okay, my own mum despised me during this period. She really did not like me. And I can see why now, because I was a bitch back then. Absolute bitch. My mindset, my focus, my mentality was completely off center. But I was hooked. I was obsessed with getting girls. I was obsessed with it. That's all I did. I slept, ate and drank women. Or getting them, rather. I was just obsessed with it. And every man's gone through this phase where, you know, you want to date, you want to get a girlfriend, you want to have sex, you want to do all these things. So you go down the same path as 99% of other men do. Okay, you go on your girl chasing game. All right, you most likely would have frequented pubs and clubs. Okay, you would have gone to these late night venues, and you would have gone about getting women in the same way that everybody else does. Okay, you would have gone up to a chick, had a conversation, asked her if you'd like to buy her a drink. Okay, you'd go through the motions. 90% of the time you wouldn't get with the girl, so you feel like shit afterwards. And on those small occasions you did get with a girl, most likely those girls were girls you did not want to get with anyway. The girls that you ended up bedding were way below your standards. They were just not your caliber, and in the morning they walked off and it was done. And you felt no better as a man as you did before. In fact, anything, your self-esteem may even just drop even more than it was when you were single, because you got a girl who was way below your standards, and then she left you as well. And it's like in your brain you're thinking, I got a girl below my standards and even she left me, so there must be something wrong with me. That's what you're going to think. Your self-esteem is going to take a hit when you go down the girl chasing path, because you're constantly pedestalizing the girl, and you're using the whole dating game as a means to an end. You want sex, that's it. You just want sex, you don't want anything else. And even if you want a girlfriend, if you want a long-term relationship, you're doing it because you don't want to feel lonely. You're doing it from a place of lack. You don't feel like a man. Let's be honest. The reason you want a girl is because you don't feel like a man. You don't feel manly. Let's be honest, gentlemen. It's the reason why you want a girlfriend so bad. It's the reason why you started NoFap. Because you want women's validation. You want a woman to validate you. You want her to tell you that you're a man. You want an attractive woman, so you can boast to your friends that I've got an attractive woman. So that your status looks better, so you feel more better as a man. Now there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going down that path. Do it. If that's what does you, you do you. I don't say anything else. But I do advocate a path of least resistance, okay? Because when it comes to women, it's not hard work. If it's hard work, you're doing something wrong. If you feel like you are stuck in this place where you just can't date the right woman, you can't find the right woman, or you just feel like you're not worthy of the right woman, you are in a place of resistance. You're resisting what is a reality. Okay, now before you start thinking negative and think, oh yeah, of course it's because I'm ugly or unattractive. No, it's not that. You're resisting your current situation. That's what you're doing. You are alone, let's say. I like to use the word, you're in solitude. You are in solitude right now. And you feel like you can't get out of solitude. The reason you can't get out of solitude is because you haven't accepted that you are in solitude. You haven't accepted it. You haven't said that this is where I am, and I'm going to make the best of where I am. You are constantly trying to get out of it. Solitude isn't a bad place to be in. Solitude is not a bad place to be in. It's actually a perfect place to be in. Because you get to learn about yourself in solitude. You get to learn all your bitch-like ways of getting out of the things that you really want to do in life and accomplish in life. And the reason you don't like being in solitude is because you're with yourself too much. You don't like what you're seeing, you don't like what you're hearing. Because you're in a phase of resistance. You're resisting where you are right now. Now, this is what happens when you go into the dating realm in that phase of resistance. You are going to be needy. You are going to have a needy vibe because you are resisting who you are and resisting your current situation. Eckhart Tolle says that there's 3 things you can do in a situation that you don't like. Accept it, number 1. Leave it, number 2. Or change it, number 3. Okay, so the situation of being single, and you don't like being single, look at the reasons why you don't like being single. Is it because you're a virgin? Is it because you haven't gotten laid in a long time? Is it because you're starting to lose confidence because you haven't had a girlfriend for a while, or haven't slept with a girl for a while? Yeah, look at the reasons why you actually are in a case of resistance or in a single situation. Because you got to understand that being single is a norm. The majority of people are single. The majority of men are single, and you will spend the large majority of your life single. Because you watch all these TV shows and these movies, and they show everyone has got a girlfriend, a partner, everyone's getting laid. Okay, that's called the fear of missing out. That's why I tell people, and I tell myself every day actually, to stay the fuck off social media. Stay the fuck off social media and stay off mass majority consumption media. Mass majority consumed media. Okay, so that's media like Netflix, the news, mass media films, okay, because they're all putting subliminal messages into your subconscious, keeping you in a constant state of consumption. They want you to consume as much as they possibly can. They, I mean the capitalist regime, the capitalist state that we live in. It's not a bad thing in itself or a good thing in itself. It just is what it is. They want you to consume. They want you to be a consumer because that's what gets them the most money. We live in a capitalist society. You are the market. So they want you to consume as much as possibly is feasible. So by advertising a life where everyone's getting laid, everyone's got girlfriends and boyfriends and dog friends and this and that, everyone's got these $17 million houses and is driving around Ferraris and is going on holidays every week. Okay, what's that doing? It's basically telling you that that's the life you should be living, but you're not. So you're shit. You're pathetic. You're worthless. Buy our product and you're not going to feel worthless anymore. It's called Psychology number 101. Psychology 101. Get you in a state of neediness, in a place of lack, so that we can then sell you a product that you're going to pay a lot of money for. Okay? That's called the regime we live in. You either become the producer or you stay a consumer. It's your choice, okay? I've just chosen to be a provider. I've chosen to be someone who creates a service and sells the service. I don't want to be a consumer. I'll buy products that I like to buy for my own personal sake of happiness. So I like bikes, okay? I like motorbikes. I want to get a nice bike, okay? I want to get a bike which I love, and I like the brand, okay? Triumph motorbikes. Is that a bit of consumption? Of course it's a bit of consumption. A bit of consumption here and there is fine. But being addicted to the consumption and feeling as if the consumption is going to make you feel better is a absolute facetious way of living. The same reason I say is getting laid bad in itself. No, it's not. Is having a girlfriend bad in itself? No, it's not. But if you do it from a place of lack, you're now going straight into what the regime, so to speak, wants. Okay? If you want to be a consumer, that's fine, but you're going to be no better than a trick. You're going to be no better than a trick when he goes to a prostitute who gives money to a woman, who gives him a cheap nut, and then he's addicted to that and he just keeps going back for more. Because here's the thing about prostitutes and escorts. You feel that you're so unworthy of a normal woman and a normal chick that you feel that you have to pay for the sex. Okay, so now your self-esteem has already gone down around 2 steps. And in order to keep rebuffing the urge or the addiction to sex or the need for sex, you keep going to the prosy. And every time you go to the prosy, not only do you give your money away, but you give a piece of your soul away. I've always hated prostitutes, not them in themselves, not the women, but the business of prostitutes, because it's a business of complete emptiness and lack. And it's for men who are so desperate for sex, who have to go and pay for it. Most of the time, the reason men don't feel that they can get normal sex is because they just haven't. I don't even know the answer for it really. It's just a lack of self-esteem, isn't it? That's all it is. It's a lack of self-esteem and not understanding that the way of the Dowel or the flow of life will give you what you want eventually. You just have to have faith that it's going to work out. Okay? You just have to have faith that it's going to work out. Look, I've been a guy who I've been single for a very long time, okay? I've been single all my life, okay? But I've only hooked up with women on maybe 2 or 3 occasions. I'm not a guy who gets laid on a regular fucking basis. I don't slay, as they say. But I've gone through the woman chasing phase, though. I've gone through that phase, and I hated going through that phase. All I did was lose my self-esteem in that phase. I just lost so much self-esteem. And here's the funny thing. As I was chasing, I just felt like I wasn't worth anything. When I was chasing women, I felt like I didn't have the qualities of a man that were needed for me to just get women naturally. I felt like I had to do something to get women. And that's a big dilemma in itself, because that just further crushed my self-esteem. So I got to a period earlier this year where I just said, fuck it. Just fuck it. I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to game. I'm not going to try and seduce. I'm just going to fucking do what I want to do in my life. Or at least right now. And I don't even care if I'm single for the rest of my life. I don't care. I don't care. Okay? I just don't care anymore. I had this mentality at the beginning of the year. And it's just funny. Because the moment I had that fucking mentality shift, literally the day or 2 after, or even I think it was the same night actually, where I went to a pub and I just wanted to have a few drinks, there was a beautiful 8 out of 10 attractive woman sitting on the bar. And I just walked in and I sat next to her because that was my usual seat where I usually sit, or at least on that side. And I had a conversation with her and we vibed and we hooked up. Did I plan it? No. Did I want to hook up? No. Did I go out with the intention of wanting to meet a girl? Absolutely not. But on that same night that I said I don't care, that was the night where I actually hooked up with a very, very attractive woman. Possibly the most attractive woman that I've hooked up with so far. Okay? And when I mean hook up, I don't mean specifically sex. I just mean a good interaction, a good vibing session. We went out to different venues and we just had a good time. Okay? I'm not going to talk about sex. I don't like talking about that in general. I don't think that's anyone's business anyway. But the point is, the moment I said to myself that I don't care, that was a time where I met a very attractive woman and an excellent experience with her. What does that show to you now? It shows that when you don't try to accord with the flow, okay, when you don't try to say I'm going to go with the flow, you are with the flow now. And when you're with the flow, things just magically happen. It's almost like internal alchemy. Things just naturally happen. But then when you say to yourself, I'm going to go with the flow, and you walk out with a plan saying, I'm going to go with the flow, there you go. You're already not in the flow now. You're already not in the flow. The same goes for life in general. Same goes for making money. Same goes for all of these things. Can you have plans and can you have goals? Yes, you can have goals. But if your goals require you to go through arduous amounts of stress, and I don't mean physical and mental stress that's like breaking through barriers. I don't mean that. I mean stress where you just feel like you've hit a block wall and you don't know what to do anymore. Most of the time, it's because you're not supposed to be doing what you're doing. Okay? Again, I don't mean this in like, you're setting up a startup and you've hit a roadblock. No, you're going to be innovative. If you're doing something that you genuinely want to do, if you're making a business and you really want this business to take off, or you want a business to take off, you will find a way, because you're a creative individual. You'll find a way to make it work. If you're trying to date multiple women and you've hit a roadblock with flakes or whatever, again, if you love women genuinely, you will find a way to make it work. It will just work out for you. But if you have a mentality of, I need this thing to make me psychologically fulfilled, you're now needy. And when you're needy, you'll never get whatever you want. You only have to be in that, you need to be at rock bottom, okay? Rock bottom when it comes to neediness for like a good few months to a year, where you truly realize that actually the neediness is pointless. The neediness is pointless, and I've got better things to focus my life on. Okay, I've got better things to work on than being with a certain person or having a certain type of job or doing this certain thing. That's where your purpose comes in. What's my life's purpose? Why am I on this earth? Well, why am I on this earth? That's the question you've got to ask yourself every day you wake up. When your eyes open, you've got to ask yourself, why am I on this earth? What am I meant to do? What the hell am I supposed to do now? Those eyes open in the morning, you should already know what you're doing. If you don't, meditate and find out. Because when you're in a dither and a doubt, you are not with the flow now. You are in a dither and a doubt. And sometimes you've got to be in the dither and the doubt. You've got to be in the anxious phase for a while. You've got to let that shit stew. Because then when you eventually get into your own personal hell, which always happens, you're going to have to claw your way out. And most of the time when you claw your way out, you are stronger than when you were before you even fell in. Okay? So yeah, this isn't a short message, this is a 20-minute video, but go with the flow, and at the same time don't go with the flow, because when you try to go with the flow, you will not go with the flow. That's the way life works, man. It's tough. It's supposed to be tough. But the flow is never tough. The flow is actually easy. Tough things, when they happen in the flow, they're not even tough, they're just fun. They're creative. Alright lads, that's going to be it for me today. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.